I come in here all the time, we do these fun little openers between us, and I just kind of realised something lately. I never say hello to everyone. So hello everyone, how you doing? I'm Eric, and today we're going to be talking about the Switch. Actually, we're not going to be talking about the Switch, that was the previous idea. We're going to be talking about Zelda, because Zelda and the Switch have both turned 2. So my original idea was going to be, I'm going to come in here, it's the Switch's 2nd birthday, it's time to celebrate. I got my balloons ready, I also got this. Take 2, I got my balloons ready. That's better. Also, you notice how small that balloon is? That is because I have an extreme fear of blowing up balloons, and that's as big as you're getting today. Why is this balloon just sticking to everything? Ugh. I decided just to scrap that idea because I just kept thinking about one thing. I'm sitting down, I'm doing my notes, I'm thinking about like, what's the last 2 years of the Switch meant to me? And there's just one thing, that just kept coming up, and that's the fact that Breath of the Wild is still the best experience that I've had on my Switch. I just adore this game, and I'm at that point now, and I've seen a lot of you out there at the same point. It's been 2 years, and maybe you're new to it, or maybe that you're the same as me, and you haven't played it for those 2 years, and you're like, I just want to get back into this game. Give me more Breath of the Wild, and I'm at that point now. I said at the end of the last video, I'm just like, I'm feeling it for this game at the moment. I'm feeling it so bad, and so I decided, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna play a little bit of Breath of the Wild, not that much because it is just a massive game, but I played a little bit of Breath of the Wild, and we're gonna talk about the experiences from the start and to now and where that's been for me. You know what the strangest thing to me is, I think this is boggling my brains, is that I have nostalgia for something that only 2 years ago. I don't think that's really possible, but it's happening right now. Right now my brain is like, oh my God, Breath of the Wild. 2 years nostalgia, and it happened. And so I jumped back into it, and I jumped into the master mode. And then I died on the first enemy, and I jumped out of the master mode and back into the normal mode. If you're gonna get back into this, do not, like, unless you really just hate yourself, don't go into master mode, because the first blue bokoblin, whatever. I picked up an axe, and I'm like, okay, my axe is going to break before I even kill this thing. But of course it killed me before I even got a few swings in. So there that was. Now hold up there, because I am getting just way ahead of myself. I actually want to go back to the start, because back when I first started, and I started doing YouTube only 2 months ago, but back when I was doing podcasting before this, and so I did actually kind of cover bits and bobs of Nintendo back then, and I was kind of covering Breath of the Wild, but I never talked about it to you guys. You guys don't probably know what my opinion is of the game back then and how I first started with the game, which is, I actually started playing this game, or I tried the game before it came out. There was a little bit of a, there was a pre-launch event. There was a pre-launch event for this game, and I was lucky enough to go to this pre-launch event. I actually had to go interstate, which meant flying, and that doesn't mean anything to anyone. The fun thing was to actually get into this event in the first place. I had to win a ticket. I didn't just like get in there because I was pressed, because I wasn't. I was a podcast and maybe had like 20 people listening per week. I had to win tickets to get into this, and to win tickets, I'm gonna see if I can dig this up for you guys, because you're gonna love it. I'll stick it at the end of this if I do find it, but it is, I had to sing. I sung a song, I didn't have to, but I literally sung a song to the lyrics of Super Mario 3D World. It is super embarrassing, it is just a terrible thing that I don't sing, never should have done this, but it was funny. It was funny. It's funny to look back at now, I tell you what. So winning these tickets and doing unspeakable things to get there, I got there and flew over to Melbourne, got into this event, and we got to play a whole bunch of Switch stuff. This is like a month before it came out, and like I got to try like 1-2 Switch and a bunch of other stuff that was coming, and Breath of the Wild they had on the station there, and you could sit down and you could play it for 20 minutes. Of course there was a big line to get into this, everyone wanted to play it, but eventually throughout the day I got my turn. I got to go in there and play 20 minutes of Breath of the Wild. After 5 minutes, I got up and I'm like, I have played enough. I know that I'm going to be getting something good here. Looking back at it now, I'm like, oh, I should have just played the full 20 minutes because I got out of that Breath of the Wild station, walked right over to the 1-2 Switch station, and I was like, yes, 1-2 Switch. And I came back on my podcast and I'm praising the word of 1-2 Switch. Everyone, 1-2 Switch, and how wrong I was to do that. Hindsight, hey. Fast forward now, and we're at the launch of the Switch, and I'm going in to pick up my Switch, and of course I'm getting Breath of the Wild with my Switch, and I spent a ridiculous amount. Me and Nat went in there together, and we just like got a spare set of Joy-Con, your extra Pro Controller. We got like the charging Joy-Cons, we got the dock things, we got the Switch. We spent over $1,000. That's Australian, like it's not American. Spent over $1,000 Australian dollars on the Switch and accessories and so much. We walked out there with this big bag. We looked ridiculous compared to everyone else in there, but it was worth it because I got home that night and I got to sit down in front of my Switch and look at it before I had to go to bed because I had work the next day. So I didn't actually get to play Breath of the Wild till the next day. That next day though, when I got home from work, was just magical because I got to sit down in front of my Switch and Nat got it on the Wii U. So we actually played it at the same time. And it is one of those games that experiencing this with like someone else at the same time, it was that kind of reaction that we all had across the internet where everyone's sharing their stories with Breath of the Wild and it's like, so much different stuff is happening. I can't believe it. Just between me and my partner, just both sitting there next to each other playing this game, so much different stuff was happening. It was just a riot just to play next to someone because you're like, oh my God, have you got this? It's like, have you seen the horses? There's horses? What do you mean there's horses? Well, we knew there were horses before launch, but you get the example here. My actual experience with the game though is very mathematical. It sounds a terrible way to play games, but I'm like, okay, no, I need to get all these towers first, and then once I got all the towers, I'll have the map and I can see everything and just go explore. And that's a way that I felt like I had to do it. But the game tore me away at every chance it could from even doing that. Getting into this game, it's like, no, you do not want to find the towers. Look, there's just something shiny over there. At the Korok Seed, you need that, buddy. You need to go find that. Or there's always something on the horizon. There's the shrines. There's this, every chance this game gets, it throws something different at you so that you don't try go on one linear path. You don't try just do the same thing. It just throws so much stuff at you. So I spent the next 150 hours just running around that world, collecting everything, shoving it in my sack and moving on. And then like, I think I did all the shrines. I did do all the shrines. I did basically everything but the Korok Seeds. By the time I'd finished this game, I just spent so much time in it. It was a little bit ridiculous in such a short period of time, but I loved it. And the only thing that tore me away from it was 1-2 switch. Point is, at that stage, I just put the game down. I was like, yep, that's enough. We're done with the game now. We're just gonna start moving on to other projects. And I did, I started playing some other games, as you do, but I never really went back to Breath of the Wild until some DLC came out. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna jump back into this DLC and we're gonna see what it's like. And it's the exact experience that I get with every bit of DLC that I do. I can't get into it. Once I'm separated from a game, coming back later and jumping back into it, I can't do it. If the DLC is out there already, I would play it. But when it comes later and I was separated from Breath of the Wild, I got back into it. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it the same way I was. I'd have to start this game again to love this. And so I did a couple of the master trials. I think the easy and the medium. And then I was just like, nah, this is it, done. Had enough. And didn't even do the second. I bought the DLC because the game deserves it. But I did not play the second DLC. Were there just 2 DLCs? You know, I don't even know or care anymore. But DLC. Jumping forward again to now, as I mentioned, I'm feeling so nostalgic for the game. I jumped into it this morning, got killed in master mode, jumped back into normal mode, and I was like, yes, I'm ready to just slide my way back into this game, cruise control my way back into it, and see how it feels to me after 2 years. After 2 years, it feels great. This game still feels great. There is something missing there, a little bit missing because you know, well, I know most of the things that are already through this game. And so going back through it, I'm like, I know the shrine, most of the shrine answers. I know like the world and where things are, but it's still so enticing and still drags me through. There's always still stuff that's shining on the horizon. Despite seeing everything, there's still stuff that I haven't even seen. I'd never really had that feeling before of playing a game and being like, I wish I could just reset my brain and play this game again for the first time. Never really got that before. I heard people say it, but never got it. This game, playing it again now, oh man, I wish I could just turn back time. How's that song go? Let's not sing. I wish I could just turn back time and go back into this game for the first time and experience this all for the first time, because running through it now, it's a blast, but like, it just makes me go, I wish there was a Breath of the Wild 2. I wish there was something different and new for me to jump into and experience this again for the first time. It's showing how much that I want them just to make a Breath of the Wild 2. I didn't even think I wanted this before this stage. I thought, you know, I want them to do something new and different at the starting. No, I'm happy. Make Breath of the Wild 2. After getting into this, it's like, yeah, give me more of that. Give it here now. Of course, there's things that just do not hold up. Like the inventory, the fact that like, just picking up items and filling up that inventory, so, especially at the start, like I don't know, maybe I had 6 slots or something like that for weapons, and I'm like, all right, I've got 6 sticks, and now I need to pick up a sword. let's play the inventory game, and it's like the inventory is its own game inside this. It's ridiculous how often I was going in there to drop stuff. I wish there was an easy way to do that. And obviously there's things that don't hold up, but like that is the one at the start that just was like glaring me problem. I was like, come on, this is ridiculous. I'll tell you something that really holds up though, the combat. My God, the combat, it's hard to explain the kind of dance that you just do with these enemies. You just dance it along, and it's like you're trying to figure out a little bit of a puzzle here as you go into it. And it's so open-ended, like you can dance however you want to, you can dance all day. But you just gotta go in there, maybe you wanna throw a bomb, maybe you just wanna like shoot an arrow, throw down an explosive barrel, swing your mallet, swing your sword, I don't know, block the enemies, and there's just so many different options for you to tackle this combat with that it's amazing. I think it's about time we wrap this up in a nice little bow and throw it out there for everyone to view, like you at home. And I think the way that we're gonna do that is by asking the question, will I keep playing this? The whole idea is that I went into this because I was having this nostalgic feelings for a game I played 2 years ago. And are those feelings paying off? And do I want to continue? Yeah, I do want to continue, but am I going to? No. No way am I going to go. It's like 150 hours to like get through this game again, and I'm not going to be able to stop myself. I'm going to want to go out of my way to get everything. And if I do that, I'm not going to be playing anything else in that time. So I think that I'm not going to be able to stop myself from dabbling in this a little bit more and just playing around, paddling around in these waters. But I'm definitely not going to go to the deep end. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a paddle, and then we're going to get out, we're going to dry ourselves, and we're going to move on to the next project because we can't spend too long on this thing. Anyway, what I want to know from you guys today, after you've watched this video now, I should stop leaving questions right to the end. Have you been playing Breath of the Wild? Have you gone back to it? Have you not gone back to it? What are your feelings? Tell me about Breath of the Wild. Do you hate the game? Let me know, because I'm open to anyone. Anyone who wants to leave a comment about anything. Hopefully you like it, but if you don't, whatever. I'm rambling now. That's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully in 2 years' time you feel nostalgic for today's video and want to go back and watch that. And if you don't, that's okay as well. And remember, for great Nintendo entertainment, you can count on this guy. That's different. For today's end screen, I want to talk about a little bit of something about today's video actually, because I feel like I'm starting to get used to this type of stuff. I'm starting to capture my aura, bottle it up and throw it back at you guys, and I think that it's finally starting to develop into something. Probably used my 20 seconds up already. So, goodbye. I also got this.